In this video, it's part 2 of making the cabinet. I wanted to cover the basic structure of the cabinet and also the sink basin. I've drawn a rough blueprint of how I did mine, so I can give you a little guidance on how you can do yours the easiest way possible. Let me turn the camera. As you can see on this blueprint, when you first start, you build the basic structure, those 3 pieces right here, and put them together. You can put just a temporary board across the top just to hold this piece so that you can build the rest of it. You need to build those 3 pieces and screw it to the wooden floor here and tie it here, just so that you can put your styrofoam in there and get the outline of these cross pieces, because they have to be specifically cut also. This piece here goes right above this cup holder. There's a little shelf there, and this needs to lay right inside that and go against the far wall. And this shelf lays in on the window sill, and it has to be in the right place. Of course, the bottom, this overlaps the wooden floor. Wooden floor comes about in here somewhere, and you can put an anchor bolt into that wooden floor to hold this edge of the cabinet. On this side, you need to use, I feel like you need 3 points to tie it off. One here, one at the top. If it's on a Sienna, you have this little handhold, and you can tie it to that cross member right here with the strap. On this end, I had a board that I tied to the car with some bolts that come across here, and I could anchor it to that. Some cars don't have that. Some cars have this little, where the seat was anchored. When you had the seat in there, this is in the floor. It's a metal anchor for the seats, and you can put a U-bolt through that and into the bottom. Some people use this right here, this cup holder. You can put a wedge piece of wood in here and put an anchor bolt through this shelf and hold it here. But I recommend you have 3 places, one here, one there, and then pick one or the other to anchor it down with. And while I'm here, also on the sink basin, the same process. I had a bolt here in my sink basin that tied to this shelf, and bolt here, and then one in the wooden floor. So I have 3 here also, and that seems to hold. I don't have anything up in this area, but it's real solid, and I don't seem to need anything more. And also on the sink basin, it's kind of the same. You need an outline like these pieces right here. This one, the floor, and then there's one board that lays right up against this shelf and ties to it. It has a centerpiece that I feel like is needed, because in this area you're going to have your water containers, and they need to be fit in there properly so that you can have your wastewater and your fresh water in here that comes up and ties into these pieces onto your sink. This is a area that I put a door on that, and I store a lot of kitchen supplies in this area. But on it also, it's like I said, 3 points, one here and 2 here. There's 3 points that you tie this sink basin together. Okay, that's enough on that for now. This low-priced sander I bought on Amazon also. It has these pull-off pieces where you can change the sanding discs. This is 250 grit sanding disc that I bought on Amazon, and it worked really well for sanding. You really needed that before you put on the stain. One tip I wanted to show you on the stain. This is the kind of stain that I used, and it's just a wipe-on stain. It was real easy. But one tip I was going to tell you is when you stain, you be sure and get you a wet rag and wipe all your wood down and let it almost dry, still be a little bit moist before you start putting on this wood stain. It makes the wood stain go on a lot easier, a lot better, and a lot smoother. Oh, try that when you're staining it, if you stain it. And then I've shown you this once before, but I wanted to show you it again. These are the bits to countersink all of your, when you really need to pre-drill all your holes when you're putting in the screws. If you don't, you're going to crack the wood. So use these countersunk drill bits with your drill. Drill the hole first, then put in your screw, and it'll work a lot better and you won't crack the wood. So that's the 3 recommendations I have for finishing. Can't really think of anything else at the moment. So I guess that's all of this part.